Hey Central Illinois, it's Gino Reynolds from The Real Opinion here on day 4 of EbertFest. I got 3 more films to talk about, and if I look a little tired, it's because I am a little tired. I've done 12 movies in 4 days. I got 1 more tomorrow, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. So let's get right to it, shall we? The first movie was called Higher Ground, and what it was based on this lady named Carolyn Briggs. She wrote the screenplay, and then as Chaz Ebert talked about before the movie started, it was actually kind of a memoir about her life. So what it was is about a woman who finds God, and then I don't know if you'd say loses God, but they describe it as growing out of Christianity. This movie, I found it to be pretty entertaining, especially when they would show what the main character was thinking when people were talking to her about some things. And the example I'll give you is she wore a dress, and it was a maternity dress, and it wasn't at all overly suggestive or anything, but one of the characters, it was the pastor's wife, said to her, you maybe shouldn't wear that because, men really like it, and it was funny because, I mean, it was showing her shoulders and that was it. It wasn't anything near what you would consider, to use the word maybe slutty or anything like that. And what was funny though is she was showing her, the pastor's wife was showing her, she put her in front of a mirror, and what she was seeing was her dancing around in lingerie, and it was kind of funny. And this actually happened a few times throughout the movie that, she would see certain things like that, and it was just kind of funny to watch someone think that way. The movie jumped around a little too fast. It never jumped out of order in time, but it would, the lady would be pregnant, and then all of a sudden, the baby's won, and stuff like that. It didn't bother me too much. It was pretty decent film. I didn't like that Chaz Ebert said they didn't make fun of Christianity. They really didn't make fun of it. It was definitely a satire type movie though. I guess I shouldn't say I didn't like that she said that. It's just, I don't know, I just don't know how. I mean, the people laughed the whole time. I mean, I can't see how that wasn't making fun if it's making people laugh. That's all I guess I'm trying to say. So, not a bad film. If you can't have an open mind about things like this, though, I would not watch it. It does, like I said, I kind of think it makes fun. But it's like I wrote in my Mel Brooks piece about history of the world. If we can't make fun of ourselves, then, it's not good. I mean, if we can laugh at ourselves a little bit, maybe we won't be so mad about things. And this film kind of did that too a little bit. I mean, it is, like I said, it was based on a real story. And, the way this woman talked, they asked her afterwards, because she was here, they said, what would you mark in a box that said, what's your religion? And she says, I don't think I can answer that. The main character struggles with faith, and things happen. It's like the whole thing where they say bad things happen to good people, because there was a lot of good people in this film that got hurt and stuff like that, and they covered how this woman reacted to it and stuff like that. And like I said, it wasn't a bad film, and like I said, it definitely satirizes Christianity, and it resonated well with this crowd. And they were talking about how, since it was kind of a Midwest movie, I believe it was based in Iowa, and we're close to Iowa, so they said that's why they think it resonated well with this crowd. I enjoyed it. Not a perfect film, but I enjoyed the satire. I mean, I needed a good laugh, and it gave me a pretty good laugh, and it had some serious moments too. And the serious stuff I really enjoyed, because it is hard to believe sometimes that, how are things right and good when bad things are happening to good people. So anyway, not a bad film. Don't watch it if you can't take the satirization of the Christian faith. But anyway, if we can laugh a little bit, then it's not such a bad thing. The next film, I knew this was going to happen with one of the movies in this, and I had a feeling it was going to be tomorrow's film, but it happened today. I was afraid there was going to be a film that I just didn't like at all. And I guess I should say like it all, because there was things I liked about the movie, but when it came to the story as a whole, either I'm not intelligent enough to get it. I mean, I don't know Indian culture. I don't claim to. And I'm not saying there wasn't things about this movie I didn't like, but the story itself, it had nothing to do with the fact that it was Indian culture. It just had the fact that, honestly, I thought the story was boring. And the movie is called Patang, if I say that right. It means the kite, and what it is based on this kite festival that happens, I believe it was January. And I'm not going to go too much into what I didn't like, because there was a lot I didn't like. I'm going to go into what I did like. First of all, I liked the music of the movie. I liked the sound of Indian music, and I actually really enjoyed the soundtrack. I mean, this whole thing had this great soundtrack to it, so I enjoyed that. And then there was one scene in the movie, and they talked about it before the film started. The director was here as one of the guests, and he says, whenever he saw these, I can't remember how many kites he said at this festival were in the air. It's such a beautiful thing, and it looked kind of cool, but the one scene they showed, they talked about these kite battles, and they showed the main character, quote unquote, battling this kid who ends up being an important character later. And it was kind of neat because the kites are flying around, and you could actually hear swords clanging and the sounds of battle. And I thought the sounds were pretty cool. It didn't help the film make it any better, in my opinion, but it helped that scene look really neat. One thing that really got to me with this movie was I think everything was handheld, and I mean, when they were in vehicles, it shook so much. I mean, I love the Bourne movies, but there's some times in the Bourne movies where the camera shakes way too much, and this was worse. So, all in all, I knew there was going to be a film I didn't like. And I'm not going to say I'm not surprised with this one, because I didn't know anything about it going into it. And really, the story, there was a story there, and it was about this brother and his daughter going to visit their family, and there's a lot of angst in the family. It just wasn't interesting. I didn't find it interesting at all, so I'm not going to recommend this one. I mean, if you are into the Indian culture, and I mean, you might get, the whole, like I said, the kite stuff was kind of neat. It's just the story around the kite stuff just was not interesting to me. I mean, I kind of, thought the daughter was kind of cute, and, but then her story got weird, and, so anyway, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm sorry, Roger, it just didn't do it for me. So anyway, the last film of the night was one that I was looking forward to just by reading a little bit. I like Michael Shannon. He's a very good actor, very underrated. The movie's called Take Shelter, and I just read a tiny bit about it before we went into it, and it talked about, that it was a thriller, that, good days are ending. And I was like, okay, what's coming? I'd never seen it, I'd never heard of it. This movie, unfortunately, has an extremely predictable ending. However, it did not hurt the movie at all, because it actually makes you think, of the ending. And I can't say what it would make you think of, because that would ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it. And like I said, I figured it out. A lot of people probably would figure it out, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin it for anyone that doesn't. Watch this movie if you like thrillers. It's not about blood and guts. There's some parts of this movie that creep me out, and I don't get creeped out that easy when it comes to movies. And you know, I mean, just watching Michael Shannon's character just deteriorate is interesting enough. Like I said, he's a great actor. That, I mean, he's getting his due on Boardwalk Empire now, and he's got some other work coming up. But he's very underrated, and hopefully he'll, get a little bigger after, especially since he's getting some due right now. But this movie, it's a great thriller. Like I said, watching him, the way his mind works in this is incredible. And so I got to say, I mean, this was one of the better ones. I'm still not going to call it the best film of the fest, but it's pretty darn close. Anyway, so yeah, if you like thrillers, especially if you like more psychological than blood and guts type thrillers, Take Shelter, very good film. Like I said, I predicted the ending way at the first of the movie. Didn't bother me though, because I still like the film a whole lot. So anyway, that is day 4. And tomorrow there's only one movie, and it's Citizen Kane. I know, I haven't seen it. You haven't seen that movie? I know, I haven't seen it. And I know about the Rosebud, and I know what Rosebud is, but I don't know anything else. I've heard the jokes, but I don't know anything else. This is one I'm afraid that I've heard that, it doesn't, it's not as great as a lot of people make it out. I'm not saying I don't like Orson Welles, because I do. He was actually Unicron in Transformers, in the movie from the 80s, and I love that character, and I love his voice. And, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm hoping I like it, but I'm just afraid it's going to be one of those ones that I just don't get. But then again, like I said, I don't know anything about it yet. So, anyway, that is tomorrow, and look forward to another review. I'll have the review of Citizen Kane tomorrow. I'll be probably filming that from home, because I actually get to go home tomorrow. I'm actually looking forward to it. I miss my boys. So, and also I'm going to see The Raven tomorrow. I'm hoping to have a review of that wrote up by Monday morning. And I should be, unless things change, I should be talking about it on WAND Today on Tuesday. So anyway, that's all from day 4 of EbertFest. Look forward to telling you about Citizen Kane tomorrow. And anyway, until next time, this is Gino Reynolds from The Real Opinion.